All right, I'd like to welcome our audience today to our Bountiful City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 25th. And welcome, we've just completed our work session and in a very important Bountiful City Youth Council induction ceremony for the new school year and a new youth council. And tonight I'm excited that our Pledge of Allegiance and our thought and prayer are going to be offered by members of our youth council. So we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Amelia Rose is going to lead us in that. And then our thought or prayer will be offered by our new BCYC Mayor, Johnny Alley. So we will go ahead and invite them to come up and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. Please stand. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Amelia. And so now we'll turn some time over to Johnny to give us a thought or a prayer or otherwise mood-setting item for our meeting.
Thank you, Council. Thank you all for giving us the opportunity, the Youth Council, to do our induction for everybody here. We just had that prior to the work session at 5:30. It was a great experience. It's really great for the youth to have a little taste of that officialness. I know we often start with a prayer, but I would like to open this meeting with a thought of gratitude to those who serve the city so diligently and give their time and resources, starting with the power, Bountiful City Power. They keep our lights running. They keep us warm. Bountiful City Landfill. They give us a place that we can send our trash away and not think about it again. The parks that give us an amazing place to enjoy ourselves. The police who keep us safe. The fire department that also keeps us safe. Street sanitation and recycling, working with the landfill. We are so grateful to them. And the water department and all of the city utilities that allow us to live in this wonderful, wonderful city that a lot of times we think about the federal government and have strong opinions there, but what really matters is the day-to-day in the city. And so I would like to thank Councilman Higginson, Councilman Murray, Councilwoman Child, Councilwoman Barr, and Councilman Bell for being an amazing city council, for volunteering their time and doing what we need. And last but not least, thanking Mayor Bradshaw for leading our city so nobly and being someone that we can all look up to, that I personally look up to. So thank you, City Council. Thank you for everyone else that works with the city for doing what you do. And never stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny. I think we're going to be very ably served, Council, by our new BCYC Mayor. He's already figured out what we have figured out, which is it takes a great team to make this a great place. So thank you. You guys are always welcome to join us for council meetings. We know that you're busy and engaged in a lot of different things, particularly with the start of the school year, so we will not be offended if you're scooting off to other activities, but otherwise you're welcome to stay with us tonight. Council, next on our agenda is our public comment time period. For the members of the public that are joining us tonight, we have a 10-minute public comment period. We reserve 2 minutes per resident in that public comment period. We ask that you share your name and where you live with us, and to remember that you're addressing the council, and that we hope you'll share with us your thoughts. We may not engage with you in a dialogue on those shared thoughts because we are limited to those items that have been publicly noticed on our agenda. But we're happy to hear any of your feedback tonight. So with that, we'll open up the public comment period and invite anyone who would like to offer some thoughts to come up to the podium.
Hi, I am Linda Meldrum, and I live on 400 North, but I'm not here about that. I represent my family to plead for a return to July 24 parade at night time. Right after the July 24 parade, my handicapped nephew in Kaysville called me and said, Linda, go to the Bountiful city council meeting and tell them our family do not like it at morning. So I want to state that for us, it was one of our favorite time activities of the year. It was quality time. Sitting in the shade, watching people at a stellar community event gave me a feeling I and all others I saw, we were included in this community and in small town America. I'm sensitive to heat, as I imagine most older people are, so I don't currently go to Bountiful parades. The Salt Lake Morning Parade is one of the top parades in the country, but just look at the beauty that envelops us in Bountiful, and you can tell we're different from Salt Lake City. The nighttime parades made Bountiful a leader, in my opinion, in Utah small towns and suburbs. No other event is beautiful to eyes and ears and helps us appreciate our heritage. And I think that appreciating our heritage in appropriate ways will put us on the road to getting the peace we had 10 years ago. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda, for sharing your thoughts. Is there anyone else that would like to offer public comment tonight?
Hello, my name's Danny Naylor. I live on 900 North here in Bountiful, longtime Bountiful resident. I am here today because for a time I had considered coming here to talk about the enforcement of traffic in our city and how frequently I feel that our police officers are giving tickets for safe behavior that is technically against the law but isn't causing a harm to the citizens. And with this most recent initiative we've had on the Main Street traffic, there has been a specific initiative to give tickets for behavior that, according to the testimony of those drivers who have been ticketed, where they feel like they are participating in safe driving procedure. One of the specific examples is somebody who stops at a line before an intersection and then pulls forward so they can get a better view of the street in order to enter traffic safely. And they were ticketed for this behavior because they're blocking the crosswalk, is my understanding. When they engaged with the police about this, they responded on Facebook. The response that they were given was, "You say you can't see? Well, we say you can see." And that leaves the citizen in kind of a conundrum. And our mayor gave a great suggestion. You can go to court and you can talk to the prosecutor, you can talk to the judge and explain your case. But that's a lose-lose situation for the police department, because if the prosecutor sides with the citizen, then that reduces the trust factor of the police officer themselves. And if they side with the police officer, then the citizen still has no clear direction on how to drive safely because they've been ticketed in a situation that they don't understand why they're being ticketed. And so I would recommend that we, rather than giving tickets in situations where safe drivers are doing what they believe is right and there's no danger to the community, that, I believe, just reduces trust in our officers, and I believe we're better served with the other recommendations I saw given in the report that you reviewed of things like an information campaign, a lighted crosswalk, speed limits written on the street, those kind of things which would better serve our community in informing them how to behave. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. Anyone else that would like to give some public comment tonight?
Ron Mortensen, Bountiful. My comments on the fifth sales tax. Residents of Bountiful, as you know, already pay numerous taxes for transportation and mass transit. There's a 0.25% mass transit sales tax, a 0.25% additional mass transit sales tax, a 0.25% transportation infrastructure sales tax, and a 0.05 supplemental state sales tax for public transit. It's also important to note that the sales tax is an inflationary tax because it increases the price of every taxable item that we purchase, and it compounds inflationary price increases. If the fifth is approved, each man, woman, and child in Davis County will pay an additional $32 or 19% more in transit sales taxes each year. And that's the taking 25% off for out-of-town payers. That is a $128 increase for a family of 4 and will bring the total annual amount paid by the family to a whopping $760 a year. Now, the mayor has already voted to increase the property taxes levied by the Recreation and Fire District by 5% and 16% respectively. Weber Basin just voted a 7% property tax increase, and the Mosquito District is raising its tax by 25%, its property tax. That's probably enough. Please do not ask the county commissioners to increase the transportation and mass transit sales tax by the additional inflationary 0.2%. Thanks.
Thank you, Ron. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council this evening?
Hello, my name is Gary. Thanks for having me.
Sorry, can you say your name again and your last name?
Gary McClaws.
Thank you.
Okay, and I live near Tolman Park, about 1100 East and Center Street. And on a regular basis, I hear gunfire constantly when I'm walking my dogs during the day. And I don't know why I'm hearing the gunfire, because there's a gun range in that general vicinity up there by the B that when guns are fired there, I don't hear them. I'm under the impression that a vast majority of people are firing weapons not in that safe location. And when I have driven up Skyline Drive, I've come around some bends into the little ravines up there and been like, hey, why is somebody firing an automatic weapon right there? Because they are. And I'm just wondering if anything can be done to advise those folks to please use the gun range. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. I can assure you that we have some frequent and often conversations with our county and federal counterparts whose jurisdiction that is about that issue.
Right.
Please.
Mayor Bradshaw and members of the City Council, my name is Morgan Nelson. I'm a lifelong resident of Bountiful. I live near 4th North and 2nd East, and I am addressing you regarding the planned crosswalk changes at 400 North and 200 East. My neighbors and I were all excited to hear of planned changes to make this crosswalk safer. However, we are concerned that the current proposal would eliminate left turn access onto 200 East, the primary through street that feeds several blocks of residents in our neighborhood. This is the principal route for many of us take to return home from work, church, the grocery store, and the freeway. And it was designed just for that purpose. Eliminating it would redirect drivers onto quiet residential streets that were never meant to serve as feeders, including 275 East, 470, 550, 650, and 750 North. I live on 275 East. My 3 kids enjoy playing outside there, as does a blind boy on our street and several other families. Redirecting traffic flow onto side streets like ours risks decreasing safety for families in these neighborhoods, despite the crosswalk's goal of increased safety. It also sends more traffic through the triangle intersection that connects 400 North with Main Street. This is already a crowded and fairly dangerous intersection, particularly during rush hour. When I put feelers amongst my neighbors, the response was unanimous. We want a safer crosswalk, but we do not believe that requires sacrificing access to our neighborhood. Many of my neighbors are here tonight. When I inquired about this proposal, I was told that traffic on our side streets would not increase. But what data support that conclusion? Was a survey sent out to learn how we use these streets and how we might be affected from this change? We're the primary patrons of this left turn lane and this crosswalk. We use them every day. Please consider alternatives. There are many options on Highway 89 that show that a safe crosswalk can occur without having a middle pedestrian refuge island. And I hope that you please consider this. Thank you.
Thank you, Morgan. Okay, we have reached the end of our public comment time. We appreciate all of you that took the time to come down and speak with us tonight. You're, of course, welcome to stay for the remainder of the council meeting. There may be, for those of you that have questions, there may be staff here that is able to help address some of those. As I mentioned, because items are not on our agenda, they may not be part of the discussion, the items that you have raised today. With that, we will move on in our agenda to consider approval of the minutes of previous meetings held on July 14th. Has the council had an opportunity to review the minutes, and is anyone prepared to make a motion at this time?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our meeting on July 14th.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Murray and a second from Councilmember Higginson to approve the minutes. All in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Looks like the minutes are unanimously approved. Next, we will consider council reports. Just checking because I noticed we have our expenditures for invoices, but I don't see that on our agenda. No, I do. You're right. It's after council reports. I just didn't look far enough down. So we'll go to council reports. Let's switch things up and let's start on the Councilmember Bell side of the dais. this
Okay,
week.
Miranda, can you help me? Okay. So Miranda's going to show us something here on the screen. I thought you might be interested in this. One of my assignments, as the council knows, is I'm on the board at the South Davis Rec District, one of the council assignments. And just recently, a request was made to try to understand how, who's signing up for our youth sports in what cities. And this is a kind of interesting take at just who is using South Davis Rec District and where Bountiful falls. But if you look at that first left one, Soccer 2026, that whole column is Bountiful, our youth, and 50% of those in for 2026, 50% of the kids that are involved come out of Bountiful. And you can see the other percentages by cities. Volleyball, if you look at that one, we're at 47% in 2026, a little bit more in 2025 and 2024. Go to the next slide, Miranda, or the next screen. This is our flag football. Flag football has become quite popular. We went one past it, I think. I think there's a flag football right there. And you can see, again, 52% of the kids that make up the program are coming out of Bountiful, 1,100 kids. That sport has grown and grown and grown. Baseball, interesting enough, that was one of the sports of my youth that was so popular here, but we do have quite a bit of participation relatively from Bountiful. We talked earlier about baseball fields tonight, but you can see that the numbers continue we're at the 300 is coming out of Bountiful, 647. Go to the next activity, junior jazz. Again, 44% come out of the Bountiful. This is 2025. We'll see what 2026 looks like. And learn to skate. You can see that is there. And then also the swim lessons is quite popular. We have a lot of kids and Bountiful participating in that. And is there a final one? Okay. So it's just, I thought you'd be interested to see that, just how much, what's happening with our youth, and they're pretty involved in coming out of Bountiful and continue to be the majority of the kids that are involved, and which is obviously we think is a really good thing. And so just thought it would be of interest to you, and that's all I have tonight for the Rec District Mayor.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's very interesting data. I'm guessing there was no action by the school board, or you would have mentioned it. Okay. Councilmember Segura Barr, do you have a council report to share?
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Child.
I do. I've got some things to share tonight. We need to thank Richard Watson. Wave, Richard. He has put together the Concerts in the Park series this summer, and he did a fabulous job. That ended last Friday. But we do have one more concert. This is a fundraiser concert, and it will be this Friday, September 4th, 7 p.m., Woods Cross High. And that is a fundraiser for next year's summer concert series. So we hope everyone will buy a ticket. Let's see, also on the Community Service Council side of things, we have CERT training. That's Community Emergency Response Team training. That starts Thursday, September 10th, and goes through October. It's on Thursday nights. We have the 9/11 Day of Service coming up. We'll be doing city projects on September 12th, so the Saturday after the 9/11 anniversary. And the city is in charge of two main projects. One is a much-needed food drive for the pantry, and one will be a cleanup at Creekside Park, and we'll be advertising times and places soon on that. There will also be a Veterans Park cleanup available that day. Let's see, Planning Commission, our planning director, Francisco, has been doing a fabulous job, and his staff walking us through codes and updating for clarity and consistency and compliance to state code. That is, we're doing that each meeting in addition to other things on the agenda. So thank you, planning. And I think that's it. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilmember Murray, do you have any council reports to share?
Nothing to, well, one, we are working with the sewer district to have them come and give us an update on the going-ons down in that area, and as well, in one, I think one of our upcoming working sessions, so I'm excited.
I think we're
for that.
actually going to work to go do a tour, see where the deposits are processed.
Great, I will bring nose plugs. Mosquito abatement, haven't had much, had a lot of reports from them. Missed the last meeting, but I will be at the next one and provide some more updates on our West Nile.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Higginson.
Thanks, Mayor. As you know, we are not getting any power from our Echo Hydro Generation facility because of the fact that our line was destroyed in the Rocky Canyon fire. Would have been nice for Jess or Luke to stick around so they could correct my mistakes as I report on this fire. But there has been preliminary discussion at the Power Commission about potential costs for repairs of that line. Last count, I think, was about 90 poles were down, destroyed. We had to drop the line over State Route 65 that goes between East Canyon Reservoir and Hennifer before it fell down because the poles there had been destroyed on both sides of that span. Costs are pretty sizable. There's a very small chance that this could become a FEMA supported loss. Gary, do you have any update on that? Okay. It's probably just a small chance, but it looks like because of the fact that we don't have insurance on that line other than liability, that we will need to foot the cost of the repairs. The Power Commission also discussed some other potential decisions to be made concerning that generation and power. And one of those ideas could be just repairing the existing line and using it with the liability that would come with it, its continued use. Another idea was to connect into Rocky Mountain Power's transmission line at the base of the reservoir and pay them for transmission and let them foot the bill for any potential liability. We know that we've caused one recent wildfire on that line, and the potential exists that it could become, as it ages, even with upkeep, it could become a larger liability than we want to continue to manage. But those decisions, of course, will be brought to the council as more information is fleshed out and we get further down the road there. In the meantime, we don't have that generation. Of course, as we approach winter, it becomes less important because it's not part of our winter base load. But something to be thinking about. And I'll bring any further information in future dates. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilmember. For my council reports, I wanted to share that we have had an additional successful blood drive put on by the Bountiful Community Service Council. This is an ongoing part of our America 250 efforts to see if we can suck 250 pints of blood out of our community to be donated. With this most recent blood drive, 38 pints were collected, which brings our grand total to 128 pints towards our 250 goal. There are a few more blood drives planned throughout the end of summer and early part of the fall. We will need to increase just a little bit our activity in order to hit that 250 pint goal. We have a very friendly rivalry going with the city of Santa Clara, so I am looking forward to sharing these totals with them and hoping that we are staying ahead of their efforts. In addition, I received some communications from a resident who was not able to attend tonight, but asked if I would share some of her concern and feedback during my council reports. And I said that I would if she hadn't made it in time for the public comment time. The resident's name is Kelly Chapman, and she was involved in a auto bicycle traffic accident at the intersection of 1800 South and Bountiful Boulevard. She happened to be the driver of the vehicle. The bicycle rider was the person who ran the stop sign. And Kelly shares some thoughts about that accident and how impactful it was to be the driver with limited time to react, and her discussions with the woman who was injured. That was a first-time rider in our community and unaware of that particular intersection. I know that we have discussed this intersection fairly recently. Kelly wanted to share a fairly impassioned plea that we consider making that intersection a four-way stop, in addition to considering warning lights in advance of the intersection, since particularly bicycle riders will pick up speed coming from almost any of the directions, since that intersection sits at a lower point. So I have committed that I would share Kelly's thoughts on that intersection and leave that with all of you, that that we are probably lucky that the accident was not a fatal one, and that while there may be impacts to the bicyclist, that it wasn't fatal. And as we consider additional traffic safety elements, she asked that we keep those thoughts and feedback in mind. That concludes my council report. So now we'll go to the item I was really worried we were going to accidentally skip, which is to consider the expenditures greater than $1,000 paid on August 5th and 12th. Has the council had an opportunity to review those expenditures, which I'm confident Councilor Higginson will note are printed portrait, not landscape?
Absolutely.
And require a magnifying glass to view, but nonetheless, have you had an opportunity to review them?
Mayor, have you reviewed them and would be happy to make a motion that we approve them as printed?
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Higginson, a second from Councilmember Bell to approve the expenditures for August 5th and 12th. We'll call for the vote. All in favor of approval, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Our expenditures are approved. We will move forward then to consider approval of the purchase of 2 Toro Workman HDX four-wheel drive heavy-duty carts. And, oh, you know what? Sorry, Brock, I've called it, so you're going to have to skip Craig. Sorry, Craig. So we're going to talk about the golf carts first, and then we'll talk about the water department.
Craig, I'm first. You've heard plenty from...
That's okay, I'll suggest that we name your new carts.
Oh, no, I don't think that would go well with golf staff. You've heard plenty from me tonight. I'll try to be brief. The item I bring before you tonight is the purchase of 2 work carts. They're heavy duty, and they will be replacing 3 of our current cart fleets. The 3 that they're replacing are pretty old. I think they're listed there in the staff report. You can read through those if it's of interest to you. They did go out and they talked to 2 of the equipment companies that provide this type of vehicle for golf cart maintenance operations, Turf Equipment and Stotz. You can see there the quotes. The low bid is Turf Equipment for $42,661, $2,283, and that's for each of them. They want to purchase 2. We do have a maintenance mechanic on staff, and he does very well at maintaining the equipment we have there. That's how we've been able to extend the life of our current fleet. And so with his recommendation along with Tom's, staff is seeking the council's approval for the maintenance staff at Bountiful Ridge Golf Course to purchase 2 2026 Toro Workman heavy-duty work carts from Turf Equipment for the total cost of $85,323 and some cents there. I'll answer any questions you may have.
I have one question, Brock. There was a recent request from some of our interactions with the Ukrainian delegation, since they've suffered some attacks and loss of equipment, if there are pieces of equipment that we might want to donate. And is there any remaining life in the old carts that might be worth considering whether this is something that we donate?
Certainly, I think it's worth a conversation.
We'd have to go over our excess property policy. We do have a policy on how to dispose of property, so we need to review that and probably amend it.
Okay, that may be something then we take up in the future. I'd be interested to know what it would take to amend for donations versus surplus, especially if we end up at a place where we've reached a real de minimis value.
There are a few years of life left in these carts, so if that's a thing that can be worked out, I'm sure it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thank you for indulging that question, and I'll talk further with our city manager offline about that policy. Anyone else have any questions on the golf carts?
Yeah, why do you still have a 95 Toro and a 98 Toro in your fleet?
Because we still use them.
It's just surprising that vehicles of that age are still in use.
Yeah, and
so thank you for prolonging their lives.
Yeah, I have to give credit to the mechanics up there. They just do a great job with all of our stuff, and
Awesome.
so carts clear into the maintenance equipment. So yeah, they do great.
Thank you, Brock.
Any additional questions on this item? If not, happy to entertain a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilmember Barr. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Child to approve the purchase of the 2 Toro Workman carts. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item passes. We will
Thank
go
you.
backwards in the agendas because we did not intend to forget Mr. Christensen and his item on the purchase of 2 trucks from Salt Lake Valley Ram and 1 truck from Young Ford of Ogden. Will the blues match if they're from 2 different dealerships?
Probably not, but maybe close. The two supervisor trucks, yes, but so as you guys all know, well, first off, thanks for having me here this evening. Part of our capital planning is to replace trucks every so often, every 5 years in the case of these trucks. And it just happens to be for 2 supervisor trucks this year and 1 of the staff trucks. So we did reach out to multiple dealers to get some bids for the 2 different types of trucks. You can see the bids there. Low bid for the supervisor trucks was from Salt Lake Valley Ram, and for the staff truck, it's Young Ford of Ogden. This has been reviewed by the Public Works Director and Assistant City Manager in Gary's absence last week. So this will have an impact on our budget. We did have these budgeted for the vehicle line item. We did have $120,000 for the 2 supervisor trucks and $60,000 for the staff pickup. So it is staff recommendation that City Council approve the 2 supervisor trucks from Salt Lake Valley Ram for $50,770, and one staff truck from Young Ford of Ogden for $50,197.
Council members, any questions for Mr. Christensen?
I'm happy to make a motion if there's no comments. I'd like to make a motion to accept staff's recommendation to purchase the two supervisor trucks from Salt Lake Valley Ram for $106,000 total, $53,385 each, and the one staff truck from Young Ford of Ogden for $50,197.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Bell and a second from Councilmember Murray. Seeing,
Do we need to amend the, am I reading this incorrectly? That only one's listed?
This is
Agenda,
two supervisor trucks.
or am I
we've got
looking?
sorry, I went out of order. 2 supervisors and 1 work truck.
But only one cost.
I think we've only listed 1 cost, but we have listed 2 trucks. Councilmember Barr's question on the agenda is that on the agenda, we've listed 2 trucks, but have not listed the price, and then we've listed the one truck, the staff truck, and we have listed a price.
Just the correct amount isn't noted that we're approving.
Does that create any issues, Mr. City Attorney?
As long as we have a clear motion and it's reflected in the minutes, we should be good.
Okay.
Okay, so we had a motion from Councilmember Bell and a second from Councilmember Murray for the purchase of 2 supervisor trucks for the total amount of $106,770 and 1 staff truck from Young Ford of Ogden in the amount of $50,197. Does the council have any questions on that motion before we call for the vote, just to make sure we're clear on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks for our patience in going backwards and then forwards.
Oh, that's fine. And just for my clarification, a total for everything, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry about that.
This was not, it was in the report, it just wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And the final item on our agenda is to consider the approval of the release of a public utility easement along the common lot line at 1466 East, 250 North. And we'll turn to our city engineer, Lloyd Cheney, to discuss this item.
Thanks, Mayor. Dr. Pepper Murray has submitted a subdivision plat amendment to realign the lot lines for some property he owns up on 250 North. As part of that realignment, he's requested that the easements on the existing lot lines between lot 15 and lot 6, and also lot 5 and lot 4, be released by the city council. He has contacted the utility companies and obtained their consent for that. The second figure in your staff report shows where those easements will be released in relation to the new configuration that he's proposing in his subdivision. A new easement will be provided kind of on the east side of the new configuration, and that will meet the city's needs for side lot easements. It does take action by the city council to actually release these, and the staff would recommend that the city council approve the release of those easements as described in the staff report.
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilmember Higginson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Councilmember Bell to approve the release of the public utility easements. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Council members, we've reached the end of our agenda for tonight's work. I'll entertain a final motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. We are adjourned.